From the amazing events of the 109th Indianapolis 500-mile race, we're getting close to the 110th running. We're 26 days away. And you know it's almost May because it's time for the Indy 500 Open Test. You're looking live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where heavy rains from overnight have stopped. The track drying is completed, and the track is open for install laps for the 33 drivers and teams entered in the upcoming greatest spectacle in racing. 60 degrees, a little cool today, but again, more importantly, it's dry. So here's how the day breaks down. Of the 33 entries, there are 24 considered oval veterans. They have the track from now until 12 noon Eastern time. Then from 12 to 2, the drivers who either haven't been in an IndyCar race since last year's Indianapolis 500, or the rookie drivers come out onto the speedway for their rookie orientation and refreshers. The rookie orientation, the 3-stage program of building speeds. The refreshers, the first couple of stages of that for the veterans to go through. Then from 2 to 6 today, we'll have all the cars on the racetrack, including an hour period for the pit crews, because this is a little different than most places as well, and for them to go through the drill of hot stops in getting ready for the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
It's a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
An interesting mix of who's running their 500 cars. Obviously, this guy here, Alex Palou, he is not in his Indy 500 car right now.
But still, plenty to be learned and plenty to be gained for Palou in this car and these laps. The scenes of joy we just saw in the opening montage from last year's Indianapolis 500. They brought back flashbacks for me of Alex coming down the main straightaway, standing on top of the truck that was taking him around the race course after the victory podium to meet all the fans, and coming down to the Yard of Bricks to kiss the bricks, and just what it meant for a guy who won everything to that point and come close in the 500 to actually experience that joy.
And you know, Alan, it's interesting. We actually spoke. I interviewed Palou last year, a few weeks before the race, for a documentary that we did for Fox. And we talked a lot about the Indy 500 and what it would mean to win it for a driver that at that point had already had 3 championships, was on his way to his 4th. And I asked him, I said, you know, is your career complete? You're already on trajectory for a Hall of Fame IndyCar career.
Yeah.
Would your career be complete without an Indy 500 win? Could you win another 2, 3, 4 more championships? But if you didn't have an Indy 500 win, would you still consider your IndyCar career complete? And he said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Even a driver with that amount of success knows the importance of this race for, you know, the history of this sport and your position in it. And he duly went out and added his name to that list. So for this guy to be back on the track, you know, I say for the first time. I'm not sure if he's been here for any of the tire testing or any of the testing late last year. He might have been.
Right. But
certainly heading into his first May back as the defending champion of the 500, it's got to be special right now for him.
Here's David Malukas out for his first laps of the day besides the install lap, driving the Verizon Team Penske Chevrolet. David looking to be in his 4th Indianapolis 500. He qualified 7th a year ago. And again with that P2 finish, driving for AJ Foyt Racing.
And there you go. First lap in a Penske machine around the speedway in the books. It's special. I mean, it's the open test. It's early in the morning. It means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things, Alan. But for this driver, it means an awful lot. Yeah. And is hopefully, you know, the first lap in what is a very storied career here at the Speedway between David and that team.
Another one to keep an eye on when he comes to Indianapolis Motor Speedway right there. Santino Ferrucci in the AJ Foyt Racing 14 car. No one has had a better track record at the Speedway, I'll say without winning the race, but in his first 500s, what Santino's run 8 in his first 7 500s. He's got a top 10 finish in every single one of them.
And he's done it 2 with Dale Coyne, 1 with Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, 1 with DRR, 3 with AJ Foyt. He's bounced around to a lot of different teams. None of those teams you would necessarily circle as exceptional track records at the 500, maybe with the exception of DRR, because it's their only race they do, and they are very competitive here. But you're not talking about a Penske. You're not talking about an Andretti or a Ganassi. Yeah. This guy has put it in the top 10 all 7 times that he's been at the Speedway. Nobody else in the history of the sport has done that. That's an unbelievable track record.
And you know, to finish all 200 laps is an accomplishment all its own.
Yeah.
Right? And to finish all 200 laps in every single 500 you've been in?
1,400 laps.
That's remarkable.
Racing laps around this place Santino's had.
Conor Daly is 34 and looking to try and win it. And back out on the race course again in this Chevy-powered machine for Dreyer Reinbold Racing. 13th Indianapolis 500-mile race. His last 4 500s for Conor, 18th to 6th for ECR in 2022, 16th to 8th in 2023 for this team. In 2024, started 29th, but finished P10 and led 22 laps for Dreyer Reinbold, and led 13 laps last year. Qualified 11th, finished 8th for Juncos Hollinger Racing. He's led laps in 4 of the last Indianapolis 500-mile races. And one thing that is very consistent about when Conor Daly gets to the front is all the Indiana fans in the massive crowd make some noise.
You can hear it every single time Conor takes the lead, you know, over the broadcast, over Will Townsend and I blabbing away. You know, it doesn't matter, over the engine sounds of 33 cars rolling around this place. 300,000 IndyCar fans cheering on a local hero is louder than all of those things combined, and it's so cool, man. It's what Indy's all about.
Yeah.
It gives you chills every time you hear it. It's an experience I know that he just relishes. And what's fun for me watching Conor race around here is when he gets up front, he's a different driver. When Conor is in 10th, 12th, 15th, he's doing a good job. He's doing what you can do. But when he gets into that clean air up front, when he gets a sniff of the front of the field, something just comes alive in him. And it's so much fun to watch him drive around this place when he's running up front.
So you're looking at Nolan Siegel's machine for Arrow McLaren, the NTT Data car. Nolan had gone out to make a run, but was black flagged because the radio communication wasn't working back and forth between the car and the spotters and so on, like it must.
It must, and it's a very important part of IndyCar racing here on ovals. You know, obviously we've got spotters on the oval tracks. At Indy, we've got 2 of them. One up in turn 1 above the grandstands, one over in turn 3 as well. And it's vital that the communication between the team, the spotters, and the car is all sort of synced and working harmoniously, so that way the driver's getting all the information they need. It's a safety issue, so Nolan getting those issues hammered out now, something that's not uncommon when you're unloading on a test.
Yep. That's why it's called testing. You see this team this year and from a year ago to now, and the pace that they've had through the opening part of the season with, you know, a sophomore driver in Louis Foster, a rookie driver in Mick Schumacher, and now you come here to Indianapolis. Graham's had some really solid results. He's 10th in the championship after the opening handful of races in the NTT IndyCar Series. Thoughts on where you see Graham and this team stand coming in here?
Well, you know, we talk about it. We talk about Graham's Sunday performances a lot. You know, even when the team struggles on a Saturday to get pace out of it in qualifying, Graham's one of these drivers that just has this ability to grab a car by the horns and just pull it up through the grid, through the field, higher up than it's been all weekend long when the checkered flag falls. And you know, we've seen also that if he starts up front, he can run there. You look to that podium at Barber, from P3 on the grid to the podium. If this team has genuinely found some pace and they're able to put themselves up front early, then you know this guy's got some got some fire in him to get it done on Sunday. He just clocked, you know, he's got fewer laps than pretty much anybody out there so far. We talked about that. Only 2:15.1 so far, so not coming out of the blocks screaming, but we'll see if they can find a bit more as they get more laps under their belt. But yeah, you mentioned it. The whole organization seems to have taken a big step over the offseason. I think I think Louis Foster in his second year is shown a great deal of maturity and improvement. And then obviously, you know, adding Mick Schumacher to the fold, a rookie by IndyCar standards, but by no means a rookie in motorsports. has raced at pretty much every top level series on the planet, short of NASCAR. So it's an organization I think is in a good place. I think the mood and the vibe inside the team is good, and the performance is showing on track.
George has done a little digging on perhaps why we've just seen Graham Rahal now in the late stages of this morning's session. What do you got, Georgia?
Hey guys, yeah, Graham Rahal pulling back into the pits right now. This was really his first go at today. Back when they were warming the car up before the day even started back in the garage, they saw something they didn't like with the engine. They have since fixed that, and Graham has got out today, but a slow start to the morning and some laps lost for Graham Rahal to start out these test days.
All right, Georgia, thanks. So Graham putting just 7 laps in the books in this session, which is the least among the drivers who have run this session, but there is the reason why. Most laps that have been run in our first couple of hours this morning have been done by Kyffin Simpson and Christian Rasmussen, who have put 37 circuits on the scoreboard.
The fastest no snow tow time?
It'd be a no snow time too.
God, I hope so.
Thankfully.
You never know. It's Indiana.
I know.
In the spring.
Rest of the top 10 beyond the first 5. David Malukas, Nolan Siegel, Conor Daly, Christian Rasmussen, and Felix Rosenquist. There were the 10 fast laps posted in our opening 2-hour session for the veterans behind the wheel. So let's give you a refresher on what the Rookie Orientation Program and Refresher are. The 3 phases for the Rookie Orientation Program: 10 laps between 2:05 and 2:10, 15 laps between 2:10 and 2:15, and then another 15 at 2:15 plus. You don't have to run them all at the same time. They are cumulative, so discretion being the better part of valor if you're really uncomfortable. But stepping it up, and for, of course, the refresher program for the veterans that have been here, phases 2 and 3 of that list are what the boxes they have to check today. Looking at Mick Schumacher on the speedway now, getting his first laps of this, I'll call it month of May, because it's almost. This test feels like it's May.
It does feel like it's basically May. I think we can get away with it. What's a couple days between friends, right?
Is it May yet? Well, it feels like it.
But no, I'm going to be interested to hear, from Mick when he gets out of the car after these first laps. He's obviously raced at Phoenix. He's raced on an oval already. I think he did a test maybe at Homestead as well. So he's been on a 1.5 mile track. But first laps here at the Speedway, and it just is different, even if you've done those other places. And I don't just mean all the history and what makes it special. Physically, from behind the wheel, it's so different from, say, a Homestead, from a Phoenix, that getting his take on things will be fun to hear.
And one of the drivers that jumped back out onto the Speedway certainly has a lot of laps around here. Ed Carpenter from Indianapolis, getting ready to go for his first and only planned race of this season, 23rd Indianapolis 500 for the Indianapolis native, 3-time pole winner here. Ed been in the strategist position for the opening part of the season for Alexander Rossi, but here he is back behind the wheel where he loves to be in the month of May.
It's it's one of the perks of being the boss. You got to come back and do the 500 every year, but like you said, Ed's got a pretty impressive record around this place. Back-to-back poles at one point, and then, like you say, added a third.
Yep.
And 22 races here. Just a tremendous amount of experience, trying to chase Helio down with his be 26 this year. It's a lot of starter rings.
Last owner driver to win the Indianapolis 500.
Was Helio an owner yet in 2021?
I didn't count him as such at that time. I think that came later.
Because he is, maybe.
He is now.
Okay, so all right, before that, that's going to be a while. That can be a while back. Tell me, I'm not going to get it.
Eddie Cheever.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, right. Good point.
Rachel's potato chips and the whole story behind that, and yeah.
That makes sense.
Eddie Cheever, my buddy, back in 1998.
98.
And here comes Katherine Legge.
That'll be some relief for her and the team to get the car out on track, get a few laps in.
Yeah, you'd think it's probably been a kind of a stressful last couple of hours just to go on top of all the stress of just, are we gonna get this together or not? And okay, there's a lot to do to get this together. And
well, I mean, we saw her dressed and belted into the car some time ago, so this
feels like an hour ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So not by choice that they're leaving the pits with 16 minutes to go.
So this, I'm guessing from the speed and so on, this is an install lap to do a leak check, come back out, have a quick look at it, and make sure everything's like it's supposed to be. And in addition to, well, all right, go ahead, Georgia. What do you got on this 11 car?
Yeah, well, as we know, track time for Katherine Legge, super important, like you guys have mentioned before today. I did just check in with the team, and the problem from earlier in the day, or earlier in this session, leading all the way till now, it was just a clutch problem for her in the car. So they got that fixed. You saw earlier she stalled, but that seems to be good. She's doing her install lap coming in, and then hopefully they can get some laps in this last 15 minutes. But yeah, just a clutch issue at the beginning.
And one other problem. As timing and scoring reports, the transponders not registering from the 11 car, and they'll get that taken care of too. As we watch Mick Schumacher put in his 69th lap of the day. Caio Collet has put in 70. Those two drivers equal for the most. Schumacher across. Last one was 2:15.7. As he works his way toward the 15 laps at 2:15 or better. He has just done that. Mick Schumacher has completed his rookie orientation program.
And we brought it up earlier that this is something that decades of drivers have had to go through. I've been told on Twitter that ROP was instituted back in 1936.
That would qualify as decades.
So it's been a minute.
Yes, it would.
Pretty much every driver you've ever heard of has had to go through this process. Do you know who won in 1936?
No.
I think Louis Meyer won in 1936. I think that's one of his.
It could well be.
I'm sure I'll get a message here.
You'll hear about that from your authority source there too.
Exactly right.
There you go.
Exactly right.
Well done for Mick Schumacher. Katherine Legge headed back onto the speedway. Jacob Abel is out there. Jack Harvey is on the race course as well. As we're down to inside of 2 minutes to go in this middle of the day session for the veteran refreshers and rookie orientation. And so now we get to see who gets out there to continue to work just the 5-10 laps at a time, the one car, checking boxes on an engineering plan, and what teams and what manufacturers organize the group run, and for how long, to see what they want to see on this first of 2 days of scheduled testing.
Yeah, for me, it's establishing how long into this 4-hour session the group running starts. It's an inevitability that it's going to happen. Yeah. Especially with the question marks over the weather tomorrow. Teams are going to really take advantage of, the sun has broken. It's partly cloudy here. It's 100-degree track temps, 103-degree track temps. That's a good baseline. That's a good kind of baseline set of conditions to go out there and really try to figure out what these cars have.
So watching Kyle Kirkwood, first car on the screen, head into turn number 3. Jupiter, Florida driver for Andretti Global, looking to be in his 5th Indianapolis 500, and comes into the month of May, 2nd in the NTT IndyCar Series Championship, 17 points behind Alex Palou, after Palou picked up that win in the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach a little bit.
Hopefully all the bits stay on his car this time. Debris off of the 10, the cause of a few of the full course cautions that we had earlier in that first segment. So your most recent winner here, your defending champion of the Indianapolis 500. He was the 112th face to be added to the Borg-Warner Trophy since its inception. First driver from Spain as well.
So changes from last year to this year. We touched on it during the morning session, but let's go to Georgia Henneberry back in Gasoline Alley, who has a little more on that.
Yeah, Ellen, I sure am. I found myself in the Rahal Letterman Langen garage, and they are nice enough to let me demonstrate something new that's gone on these cars just today. So on the bottom of the side pods and the undercarriage, there are some flaps that if the car gets turned around, it tries to keep it on the ground, it tries to slow it down a little bit. But today, and for the rest of the month of May, they're implementing these flaps on the side pods as well. So you see the bright yellow there. So if the car gets turned around, these flaps will open just like this, hopefully slow the car down just a little bit, try to minimize any damage, but overall, more importantly, just try to make these cars a little safer. We know that IndyCar is always trying to make these cars as safe as possible, and these flaps, which you can find on each side pod, are just another measure in doing that. So I just wanted to show you, this is on Takuma Sato's car, and they will be on every car for the month of May.
Yeah, good look at it, Georgia. Thanks for that. Again, when you turn that car around backwards, it goes from the air pressing the car down, the down force on the car. Turn that wing around backwards, it becomes a little bit of lift, and you're trying to break that shape and kill that lift and keep the car down on the speedway where it should be.
Right, so ultimately there's now 4 flaps that deploy if you go backwards, the 2 on the wheel ramps and then 2 on the lower part of the floor, right at the back of the diffuser there. And that also goes along with a wicker that now kind of follows the whole length of the side of the car. Tough to see from the angle of a car on track, but that's for if the car is actually going sideways. If it's sliding sideways, it doesn't get air under it and roll it over that way. So, you know, like IndyCar has always been at the forefront of safety. They are always innovating and trying to improve. And that's one of the things that, you know, helps you sleep well at night when you're an IndyCar driver and strapping yourselves into one of these rocket ships 18 times a year, is just knowing that between all the developments of the cars, of the circuits themselves, having the AMR safety team traveling with us for the entire season just helps give you a lot of confidence to go do what you do on Sundays.
So remember when Georgia Henneberry talked to Caio Collet earlier. So here he is getting that first taste of traffic after finishing his rookie orientation program very successfully earlier today. Out there with his AJ Foyt Racing teammate Santino Ferrucci, following Santino in traffic. Got to feel what it was like when another car comes past you, when Ferrucci just passed him a lap ago. So what does the air feel like when you're running that couple of car lengths off somebody's wing, headed into the corner at speed here? He's finding it out on the fly.
Feels dirty. That's what it feels. It's not a fun feeling the first time you experience it, but you know, you've obviously just got to not just experience it, you got to get really used to it, get really comfortable with it, because when there's 33 cars on this racetrack, you're seldom in clean air unless you're running out front leading the race. So it's a valuable experience. He's doing a great job right now. He's kind of staying in lockstep, experiencing what it feels like. You see him turning in a little bit earlier than Santino to try to get a little bit of air on the front wing. He's backing off again right now a little bit too much going into the corners. He's dipping down to indicate that he's coming into the pits. Yeah. But it's all just part of the learning process. And again, you've got so much time to build up to it. There's absolutely no rush at this point for someone like Kyle.
Christian Rasmussen hasn't run much in this afternoon session yet. It's just his 8th lap on the race course. 25-year-old from Denmark, driving for Ed Carpenter Racing, ECR, in the ECR Splenda Chevy. He had his best run of his 2 prior. Last year, qualified 18th, finished P6, did Christian Rasmussen.
And I mean, he had an exciting month, man. He had a couple moments in practice, 2 spins off of turn 2 without hitting anything. Pretty remarkable when you think about it. And then had a moment in the race, one of the biggest saves on a restart, coming through 3, coming to the green, got sideways 3 different ways, and managed to avoid hitting anything. So just putting his phenomenal car control on display in the race. But like I said, I don't want to say got lucky, but was fortunate to have 2, not 1, but 2 spins without hitting anything. Becoming more of a trend. And remember, thinking back to Phoenix with Dennis Hauger and that amazing save off of 4, going backwards down the front straight, pulling the J turn and getting going again. If you can say you've spun on an oval without hitting something, that's an accomplishment in itself.
Go buy the Powerball tickets.
Yeah.
It's your lucky day.
Or don't bother because your luck's run out.
Okay.
I mean, you used it all up there.
Yeah. Rasmussen, best lap of the day was the one he just ran of the afternoon session, a 2:18.85. for Christian. Looks like Graham Rahal back onto the race course as well, as he exits the warm-up lane off turn 2 and onto the back straightaway. There's Graham.
Rahal's run 14 laps so far. Best lap of a 2:15.499. Second last of the cars that have run, only ahead of teammate Louis Foster. His best lap right now after 15 tours is a 2:11.9. I wonder if there's more to the story there, or if that's just genuine pace struggle out of that organization.
So right now, 3, 4, 5 car group with a 6th pedaling hard to try and catch up.
You see McLaughlin and Award there. Nice aggressive turn in from Pato. He's confident in the back of that race car to be able to kind of give it that much wheel into the dirty air behind McLaughlin, and stays right with him through 3 and 4. That's a well-handling race car this early in the day. And by early in the day, obviously we're late in the day, early in the run, I should say.
I think we knew what you meant.
Yeah, I think so. Does anybody ever really know? Do I even know, Alan, half the time?
That's a question only you and the voices in your head can answer.
Well, we have a party. All 8 of us have a real good time.
I'm just curious on your observations from, doing this a zillion times and understanding what you're trying to find out when you're in a line. Say, pick McLaughlin right here. What are you trying to learn?
So McLaughlin, he got passed by Pato, I think, pretty straight up. I think he let Malukas go by because you want to know what you feel like in two cars of traffic, in 3 cars, in 4 cars. You kind of need to feel all these differences to know how much the balance changes with each successive car that you're running behind. So Scott's just trying to fall a little bit further back. Not happy, wants to come in and change something. Drops below the line there to just signal to Ferrucci he's coming in. But that just creates a little bit of a gap between Santino and the 2 cars in front on track. So now he'll have a nice tow. That's a really nice gap for Santino. A 2-car draft, about 2 seconds behind, maybe less. This will be a nice good lap for him. He's already sitting 3rd on the charts right now.
Let's check the speed here at the Yard of Bricks for Ferrucci. Yeah, not that great.
Because he had to check up.
Yeah, and we've seen in recent years as well, when you get a couple cars from the same team up there at the head of the pack, they can trade off the lead and share the load, if you will, in the fuel burn and in extending, to make sure you stay on schedule with some of the other drivers and teams.
Pato there doing a brave move on the inside of Louis Foster into turn 4. Foster just struggling for that pace, still 27th and last of the cars that have run laps.
Going by Alexander Rossi, who's back out for the first lap of the afternoon session, this afternoon session that he will make on the day. We've seen 29 cars on session in the afternoon. Let's check back with Georgia, who I believe has one of the drivers who's not been out yet.
Yes, Stingray Rob turned 3 laps earlier today, but has not been out in this afternoon session. What's going on back here in the garage? Because there's a lot of work happening.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had to do an engine replacement today. Did a few laps early on, felt a weird vibration, and just came back into the pits, went back out to check things out, and then same thing. So it's unfortunate, but the Team Chevy crew got it diagnosed very quickly. We did kind of waste the whole morning session in order to diagnose it, but once we were back here at the garage, they said, yep, we'll get to work. And then obviously motor going in now. They said 4:30, it's 4:31. We're a little bit behind schedule, so I'm hoping we can get out there. But obviously, first day at the Speedway, this is not what we want. We want as much track time as possible, get to work, start testing things, but we'll be on the back leg going in tomorrow.
Thanks, Stingray. Hopefully we can get out today, but if not, we'll see you tomorrow.
Good, thanks.
Stingray Rob looking to be in his 4th Indianapolis 500-mile race. So tough day 1 of the Indy 500 Open Test for the Idaho native. We're following Dennis Hauger in the green and black trimmed number 19 car because we're literally counting down the laps till he finishes his rookie orientation program. He's down now to 3 at 2:15 or better. And since he's running in the draft here, he should be right in that range if the car's behaving like we all expected it would be.
I mean, he's got a best lap right now to 2:21.1. That's pretty stout. He's 13th on the time charts. So he clocks in at a 2:15.9 on that lap. So that's down to 2. And then there were 2 for Dennis Hauger.
And then there were 2 as we see some more cars begin to move out onto the race course. That was Christian Lundgaard, who was on the inside access road, heading off the pit lane. Got Felix Rosenqvist has just gone up onto the racetrack. You have Mick Schumacher headed back for the race course after a visit to the pit lane. David Malukas is out there. Kaio Collet, Romain Grosjean. I mentioned Ericsson already. Takuma Sato.
2:16.9 for Hauger. 1 to go. A matter of when, not if, at this point.
Like there was any doubt.
There was any doubt. But still, it'll be a relief for him once it's done.
Yeah, just another box of firsts to check off. And all of those accomplishments are just milestones that every driver has to go through. Your first test, your first practice, your first Fast Friday, your first qualifying run.
And then there's cool things. There's like the rookie lunch, you know, and there's certain little trophy things that are given to rookies. You know, you only get it your first year. Everyone's got one. As he crosses the line at a 2:16.2. So we'll await official word, but
should about do it.
By our calculations, that should be done.
And here's official word right now. So Dennis Hauger has completed his rookie orientation program. Welcome to the Indianapolis 500, Dennis Hauger. There's Graham and scoreboard watching for this 15. Right now he's 28th out of 30.
Teammate Foster 29th, and then Sato is up in 20th, and Schumacher's 20th. So the 27th, 28th, 29th for Schumacher, Rahal, and Foster, and then Sato once again the quickest of the cars, but by no means rapid when it comes to outright pace. So mild concern for this group. Again, no bumping predicted to be happening this year, so we're not worried about anyone making the show, but that doesn't make it any less painful.
Yeah. You don't have to start on the front row to win the race, but it sure does make it easier.
It sure helps.
Yeah.
And I mean, just knowing that there's some pace in the car, even if you're starting at the back, can give you some confidence. If you're just legit qualifying at the back, that's the best you've got. It makes for a long 3-hour race. Now you see a lot of cars coming out on that warm-up lane, the acceleration lane, trying to time getting into the back of this first line of cars. Here we go, guys. Rub your hands together. We're about to get a lot of action here at IMS.
Takuma Sato, Graham Rahal, Dennis Hauger, Romain Grosjean, Alexander Rossi joining off the backstretch. Also see Ed Carpenter moving toward the race course. Nolan Siegel a quick out and in. And let's mix it up. Armstrong to the head of the line to turn 1. Will Power has the best lap today. You see on the screen 2:23.15 in the afternoon session earlier today.
I got a feeling that's going to fall. Now that we have this many cars on track, you're going to see some big holes punched in the air. Some cars trying to catch up to the tail end of that 8, 10, 12 car draft can sometimes pull some massive numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing 226s, 227s on a Hail Mary toe lap here by the end of the day.
It got quiet because Christian Rasmussen's car has come to rest inside of the turn 2 exit and is not under power and is going to need some help to get back around.
Yeah, I saw him coasting as we were kind of watching some cars pull out of pit lane there. It almost looked like something was maybe loose. Maybe a wheel was left loose and he felt it, and rather than risk it coming off and obviously going into the racing surface, just, you know, wisely pulled over. But pure speculation on my part.
Well, if that's the case, we'll know in a second, because if they just hook the tow rope up to it, then...
Let's see. So you can see the replay. Here he's coming. And he just immediately... See, the car's wiggling, which to me indicates something's loose. You know, easiest explanation would be a tire. Could be something, you know, could be a bigger failure, something in the rear suspension. But either way, they'll get him towed back. And we were just gearing up. Everybody was just winding up. Now we've got a nice train forming. And this is going to give all these guys a good sense of what their car's doing, where they're at right now.
Hunter Ray and Lundgaard at the head of the line, now exchanging that spot.
It's always nice when you're able to work with your teammates in a situation like this, because you know they're going to be predictable. You know they're going to give you the room. The spotters can communicate a little bit more closely and share some of the intent with each other to kind of give their drivers a heads up as Hunter Ray now goes back around Lundgaard. Carpenter behind Simpson there. And what you're looking for at this phase is that driver who's 4th, 5th, 6th in line. If they're able to work their way up 2, 3, 4 positions in a handful of laps, the two cars at the front, they're going to be swapping positions. That's just kind of par for the course. If you're out front, you're almost, I don't want to say a sitting duck. It's not easy to get past if you're the lead car, but it's certainly easier. But once you get back in the train, it gets a lot more difficult. And when you see cars able to make progress from that sort of 4th position back, that's your first indication that that driver's got a very strong car in traffic. There goes Carpenter by Kiffin.
David Malukas, Jack Harvey join the party. Malukas right in front of the whole group, just off the pit lane, coming off turn 4 now. Malukas, Lundgaard, Carpenter. And you've got Kiffin, Simpson, Jack Harvey, Graham Rahal, Will Power in line.
Sato to the top, 224.8. Grosjean slotted in just behind him at a 224.3. So that's where you're starting to see some of these big toes. And this is where it can get messy, Alan, is guys coming out of pit lane, guys trying to fall back into pit lane when you're coming out to an entire train of cars already at speed. That's Dixon blending out and Palou.
Palou with a bigger head of steam off the pit lane, got around Dixon and then slotted into line a little bit ahead of him now.
But you see the gap that they've sort of created to the car in front. I think that's maybe Will Power.
That's Jack Harvey there in the green and black car, just in front of David Malukas in the Verizon 12.
15 minutes to go. Everybody's kind of finding their place now in line. So everyone I think that needs to be on track right now is out there. They've kind of found their place. Now you start working. And if you're the car in front, you don't want to run around out front for too long. If you're kind of respectful and following the unspoken rules, the etiquette, if you've made your way to the front, you give it a lap or two out front, tow some guys around, then sort of strategically fall back however many spots you want, 1, 3, 5 in line, just to kind of work on whatever stage of the stint or the race you want to work on right now. But it's the worst when a guy works his way to the front and then the next straight just immediately pulls over and falls to the back. That's just rude.
Drops the cord.
Yeah,
exactly. I found out what it's like to follow you and pass you, but I'm not going to give you the same.
Correct. Malukas now up to P3 with a 223.89. Dixon to P2.
Yeah, and all those cars back in the traffic and getting the tow from the car ahead of them. There's the gap from Malukas in that red with the yellow banner around the top of the aero screen. Penske car up to Jack Harvey. They switch around at the head of the line also, with Lundgaard going back up front. Yeah,
Sato and Dixon 1 and 2. They're last and second last in line, but just wait, we might see a big lap in the next 2 or 3 laps from Helio Castroneves in the 06. He's got a bit of a gap to the tail of this train and Scott Dixon, but a big old hole being punched by, what's that, 10, 12 cars in front of him.
Yeah. And of course, Alex Palou out there at the middle of this line as well, capable of throwing up a number in the traffic also. What did you call it earlier? A PR lap?
Yes. The PR lap.
That doesn't stand for personal record?
No, it does not. And here's Palou now. That's a good move. He was able to follow Power through 1 and 2. Power was a little bit close to that car in front of him. Maybe Graham Rahal. Couldn't quite see who that was. And executed the pass. Again, that car already looking pretty solid.
Let's see if Palou jumps up here in the line as he pops out to pass Graham Rahal.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be the quickest lap, but the point is he's able to follow closely and get those passes done. And there you go, Castroneves, just as I called, 225.2.
The big toe from the end of the group. Is Palou going to get the big toe down here to the checkered flag at the yard of bricks, or is he going to break it off?
Not big enough with 2 cars. I think Daly's safe on that one. And, you know, what's impressive about it is both those dryer cars are quick in the draft, but also by themselves. Jack Harvey's still the fastest no-toe. Connor's 6th on no-toe. Again, you're not going to look at it too closely, but it's not nothing.
And the checkered flag is waving from atop the starter stand. And our final laps of the day registered as drivers come to the Yard of Bricks. Everybody's got the checkers. And so that's going to wrap it up for day one of the 2026 Indy 500 test. Incident-free.
Always a good thing.
Number of cautions for debris. The one car that needed the tow in, Christian Rasmussen. But no crashes, no spins. And 32 of the 33 cars able to accumulate some laps on our day. And when it's all said and done, the one that'll get the big headlines for the most part tomorrow will be the local guy, Conor Daly, who has turned a lap of 225.394 miles an hour in the draft, and he'll be tops on the day in overall speeds for our test session on this day one. So look at the top 10, and while we see it, a thought from you, Mr. Hinch, on what we saw today, and if anything, your takeaway from the day.
Well, look, I mean, you said it, a good clean day. I think that's the most important thing. Pretty incident-free. A few mechanical gremlins for a few of the cars, but again, we got a lot of track time to get those things sorted and get those cars dialed in. But great to see everybody out on track, running quickly, running reliably, running safely. And I think we're slowly getting set up for a really exciting month based on what we've seen in just the first couple hours of practice.
Absolutely.